rather than deporting them to prison without due process? You seriously don't see a problem with that? I don't know what the process is either. I think that they should follow whatever the process is, but I just don't really give a shit that much about it, right? I mean, like, that's it. Like, I understand that, like, this is, again, more fear-mongering, right? You're taking a bunch of people that have tattoos all over them from, like, being part of this gang, and you're acting like this is the next step, is they're going to be rounding up Hispanic Americans and then putting them and sending them to El Salvador. It's really not happening. This is not happening. It's ridiculous. And also, it's the assumption of due process. What is the due process for a person like that? Yeah, it's so dramatic. Yeah, it's so dramatic. And I think that's basically, I want to be very clear, none of us care. These are yeah, and this is basically it. It's important to be very clear, none of us care. These are thugs who illegally broke into our country by gangs who regularly rape, murder, and steal. Democrats like you care more about these thugs than you ever have about the Americans killed by the illegals. Exactly. I think people are tired of having their empathy weaponized against them in order to enable criminals. Yeah, people are tired of having their empathy weaponized against them. How do you know they're in gangs? Well, a lot of them have tattoos that are gang tattoos. It's a ridiculous argument. Yeah, it is. It's a ridiculous argument. Empathy is dumb. Well, I think that some people can be dumb because of empathy. I think that's really what it is. Let me see if there's any more of this I was going to look at. I think this is just pretty much all the same post. Yeah, pretty much is. Let me go back. I'll go through the rest of these. And it's another feelings argument, though. It is. It is a feelings argument. And it always is. And that's the entire premise of all of this stuff is totally based off of feelings and making people scared rather than making people think and looking at what the best option is. And I think that's really the biggest difference, and that's the reason why you have such a pushback on it. It's about balance. It is. Is that your view, that if due process is what's holding back the public safe, then finding a legal loophole around the process is okay with me as well? Well, finding a legal loophole around due process is by definition due process, because the due process is the legal process. So if you find a loophole around the process, then that is, of course, then part of the process. Like, skipping a loophole and just like, skipping the process is very different than expediting it through some sort of other apparatus. That's a weird gotcha. Yeah, it's a weird gotcha. And why are leftists hell-bent on supporting terrorists and criminals? Because they view these people as victims. That's the reason why. They view them as victims, and that's the entire focus they have, is on being victims. I get so tired of people trying to justify as people coming in the country illegally. Yeah, I know. It is exhausting, isn't it? It can be tiresome even for me sometimes. But that's okay. That's fine. But yeah, let's see if there's any more of these.
Who are you in? The same one. I don't want to talk to you this anymore. I think you're so discredited.
The loophole becomes the process. Does that mean it's the same as the people, what the people call? Yeah, but everybody does that. I mean, if you can find a rule to expedite a process and to make it work better, then you're going to use that rule. So due process is the law. So a loophole is also the law, because that's what a loophole is. So it's a different, and this is another component to it, right? So you have tax avoidance and you have tax evasion. Tax evasion is when you break the law. Tax avoidance is a manipulation of the law that is technically. So a loophole is tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is fine. This is completely different from that? No. Avoidance is legal? Yes, avoidance is legal. So yeah, again, due process. And I said, by the way, I said the exact same thing. And I know people always like to play like this comparison game. I'd be like, yeah, but what about this? It's not related. I said the exact same thing about Hunter Biden and Biden insurance partners. And people said that it was an abuse of the system. And I said that's totally, it's not even clever use of game mechanics. That's what pardons are for. So like that was the difference, right? Let me see here. If loopholes weren't legal, then how are people going to jail for them? Well, it depends on what it is. Yeah, I don't know who's going to jail for it. I have no idea. Let me see here. I'll let you know what it is. And check Patriot Act Section 412. They can read that if they don't understand what the due process is. Yeah, I mean, if they have the process and they have the policy, then that's the way it is, right? It's literally that simple. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is another... This is another person, this is very popular on Twitter, is for people to post things that are, people post things that are justifications of violence. So you had this woman here who makes a post that says, verbally and physically accosted for my hat, literally minding my own business, an unhinged man comes and verbally accosts me, screaming at me, and then he calls me every name in the book, and then he hit my hat twice. It's actually crazy that Twitter and people on Twitter have justified, well, number one, they've compared wearing a Donald Trump Make America Healthy Again hat with Adolf Hitler, obviously. Like, and what a big surprise. You know, it always goes right back to the same thing, doesn't it? It's amazing. I suggest you read some 1930, 1935 German history. Guys, you're not going to get me to say that it's a bad thing that deporting illegal migrants that are part of gangs that are designated as terrorist organizations is a bad thing. Again, like if you've come out on that side of things, you have completely left the realm of rationality. And yeah, deporting gang members is the same as a genocide. This is the kind of stuff that people do. It's the constant invocation of Hitler, of Nazis. It's so tiresome. It's so tiresome. It's completely overused. Nobody is buying this anymore. Nobody wants to hear about this anymore. It's exhausting. So please stop. Please stop constantly comparing everything to Hitler. Please stop constantly comparing everything to Nazi Germany. It's not Hitler, it's not Nazi Germany. It's just a bunch of retards trying to make people afraid. They're saying Jews in Europe are criminal gang members. Yeah, it's willfully suspending reality to argue an emotional fallacy. It is. And it's disappointing to see it happen, but there's a lot of people that have been completely taken over by that. But I will tell you guys this. The moment that anybody invokes any sort of parallel to like Hitler or Nazi Germany, I immediately stop paying attention. Because this is 99 times out of 100 an emotional appeal that's meant to make you not have your argument because they don't want you to align with Hitler. That's it. It's saying, yeah, immediately stop listening to them. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna be real, this isn't it. Getting beat up by a MAGA hat isn't on the same level. She did not get beat up. If somebody touches you and physically assaults you over your hat, that person should not be in public life. There is no reason why a civilized, tolerant society in Western civilization, in a first world country, should tolerate any form of assault or abuse on a person because of a person's attire. This is literally, yeah, this is what animals do. Absolutely not. Yeah, so yeah, it's always very weird for people to see. It's weird that people keep justifying and keep trying to make excuses for literal violence and intimidation. USA civilized? Well, it's not, because we have people like this trying to overthrow the government. It's chill though. Fuck up the president again. Hitting somebody because of their hat is bad. And if you're hitting somebody because of their hat and you're violently assaulting them, then you shouldn't be in public life. It's very simple. There's really not a lot of fine print to this or a lot of common sense. Justifying violence based on the appearance of someone is wild. Yeah, same thing for the people keying Teslas. Yeah, I think so. And it's crazy how every single person, this is what I find to be really funny about this. Every single person just defaults back to trespassing on the Capitol. Since we've only had like 15 years to this, it's the same thing every single time. What have I said about this? Sucks. You followed me for a long time. What have I said about this? Can we block January 6th Capitol, etc.? We probably should. Because it's just such a, it's such an overused, retarded thing, and I know that every single person that brings it up is somebody who's trying to create a false equivalency. It's super redundant. I'll be honest, I don't know. January 6th was bad, and anybody who was violent in January 6th should not have been pardoned, and I hope they stay in jail for a very long time. How's that? The people that walked into the Capitol without being violent, without stealing anything, they were already in jail for 3 years. I think a pardon for them is fine. I think spending 3 years in jail for that, that's acceptable. Then we agree? Okay, yeah. This is the way most normal people think. I also agree assaulting anyone in self-defense is wrong. Yeah, it's not even a conversation. Yeah, what about violence against a person for what they say in public? I don't really. So unless a person says I'm going to kill you, or like they're making threats at you, there's no justification to punch them or to hit them. So the only justification for violence for words, or are if those words are like they're an immediate threat. Yeah, make a threat. Like, yeah, if you're threatening somebody, that's it. Should still be okay to punch a neo-Nazi in the face? No, it shouldn't be. Just because you've decided that somebody is a neo-Nazi doesn't mean that you get to punch them in the face. Do you understand the problem that it creates when you decide that there's a group of people that you can just punch in the face without any sort of, like, repercussions? No, that's not how it works. Just because you think somebody is a Nazi doesn't give you the ability to punch them in the face. This is a low IQ, tough guy Redditor viewpoint that if people expressed this in real life, they would be in jail. Same guy saying punch a Nazi, then complaining about due process. You know what? That's a great fucking point. The same people that are complaining about due process are saying to punch Nazis. That's a great fucking point. I'll see if there's any more of these here too.
But DHS also released ICE arrest numbers. Those numbers are surpassing the Biden administration for what their arrests were.
That's a cool fucking car, man. I want one of those. Yeah, one of these like off-roaders. This is badass.
All of 2024. However, when it comes to those removals and deportations, that's different than an arrest. So we pressed the secretary on that. Here's what she had to say with all these deportation efforts.
You look at the numbers, and we're going through them, but the arrest numbers, we saw that Joe Biden was manipulating those. Even people that they were encountering and releasing into the United States, they were calling as arrests.
So they captured them and then they let them go? Why did they do that? Did they say they were?
President Trump has been extremely aggressive in making sure that we're arresting dangerous individuals, getting them out of the country.
But DHS
I can get you a brand new one for $22K. No, maybe if it was like $5K or $7K, I'd buy it. But that's way too fucking much. But yeah, let's see here. And sexually frustrated. Okay, yeah. People always like to make comments like that, but yeah, really not a big surprise. But yeah, basically Trump had this app. So like the Biden administration had an app that would. Basically, it was how the migrants would like keep track of all their benefits and everything. And Trump canceled the app on the first day. And then on the second day, or I guess not second day, but like now, he has repurposed the app for their benefits into being a self-deportation app.
Trump, on his first day in office, he ended that app. He ended that opportunity for migrants seeking asylum. Yeah. But now they've repurposed that app as CBP Home. So we asked Secretary Noem, is that app being utilized? Does she think it's working? Here's what she had to say about CBP Home.
It's building momentum all the time, and we're continuing to educate the public about it. But yeah,
pushing migrants to self-deport.
The last I checked a few days ago, it was getting it's hundreds and hundreds. I'm not sure if we're over thousands and thousands now, but every day as people recognize that there are criminal penalties for overstaying, especially after you have final removal orders. There's also financial penalties.
Yeah, see, they're going to roach out real quick as soon as they realize they're going to get got. That's the thing. Is people like this, as soon as they start seeing other people get deported, then they start leaving.
Every day that you're here for a final removal order, it could be $700 a day penalty. So if someone has been here for years, past the date of their final removal order, it could be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's a consequence they could face if they don't stop.
Yep, there you go. And the incentive is that they'll face charges and the chance to reapply legally. I guess they'll run out of the U.S. American citizen has to pay penalties. Well, of course not, because you're a citizen, so why would you pay penalties? Yeah, but anyway, so this has been what's happening, I guess, right? And it does seem like we've got. This is crazy. This is what I voted for. Well, I'll tell you guys, how many of you guys voted for you're getting it's even better than what you had hoped. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 100%. It surpassed all the expectations. I thought he was going to take over. I did, but apparently he just doesn't.
Red line for the drug
affected, so it's we're not going to let that happen.
Do you have a red line for the drug cartels that if...
Yeah, I think so. Not even American, I still agree. I mean, they have military-grade gear. I'm sure some of them do. Yeah, you're right. And I wonder, and I feel like there's also a very good question. Where do they get that military-grade gear? That's crazy. Yeah, what is that? Where did all that come from? Because like I have my idea of where I think it came from, but where did it come from? I wonder.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
Wow.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist...
That Patriot Act shit was OP, right? Damn. Yeah. Wow. This isn't a Patriot Act? I thought part of it was. And this is from yeah, it's from 1798 or 89.
Is unlawfully in the country. He's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela
imagine?
invading the U.S.?
This is a very important that is unlawfully in the country. He's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question, if you could answer my question first.
In other words,
Uh-oh.
Is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would
TDA, so I'll answer and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented that TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes the decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing?
It's very funny for me to see this happen because I'm actually very happy to see this because I'm finally witnessing the downfall of this emotional, leading, dishonest, and disingenuous rhetoric that's been going on now for pretty much the entire time that I've been an adult. And I think we're finally seeing pushback against it. And this blatant emotional, it's emotional rhetoric. That's it. Thank God. Yeah, I'm so happy to see this. I don't know how long I've been waiting for this to happen. It feels so good, man. Yeah, it's because I hate people that act like this. I hate people that behave like this, that think like this. I completely hate them. And so I'm really glad that, like for me, I got fed up with this over 10 years ago. But a lot of other people, they tried to be nice, they tried to be reasonable, and now finally this is just kind of not working anymore. They're a designated terrorist organization and they've illegally entered the state, so yes, it's completely justified. I mean, I would assume it is. Yeah, I would. I would absolutely assume it is.
Me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists the three qualifying actions. It could be an act
it does
of war,
say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found it.
Yes, it says or a predatory incursion or an invasion.
Any invasion or predatory incursion against the territory by any foreign nation or government. Okay, well then, there it is. Why is she defending gangs? Because the entire narrative is built around victimhood. So it's about defending the people who are victims. And it's not about what's good or bad for people. It's about figuring out who's a victim and then defending that person. That's the reason why. It's literally like, it's completely one-dimensional thinking.
Statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion
Okay.
language in the statute.
So
but this is a
big
very
picture,
important
Steve.
question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review.
I never said that. I did not say
Never been true.
this was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more influence the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can...
This seems like it would be right. Yeah, it seems like that would be true. Yeah, it's completely right.
direct Marco Rubio.
Okay, do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to...
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do in fact have a say here, even though you think they do.
They would agree with them that they don't have a say. That's not what he said.
We are expecting the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are subject to judicial review. In other words, the president...
Because the reason why is because people that have these viewpoints, a lot of their, like, I guess, normal, what's this here? Let me read it. What's the emotional rhetoric statement? I feel like calling a gang or a cartel representative of government is very emotional, don't get me wrong. Well, they have reason to believe that. I don't know what their reasoning is, and I think that's a separate thing. If you think that's fake, that's fine. But that's generally what I'm thinking. Yeah. It's insane how this is just pressured into the world. Well, it's that these people have to be oppositional to this kind of stuff because they have to pretend like these people are not violent gang members. That's the reason why. And so the only way that they're able to make an argument for this is by misrepresenting him or reframing what he says in a way that is not what he said. That's it.
Designation of Nicaragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the
there
system
is no way.
how
are you going to expel? Hold
power?
on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? If that means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying
And this is the reason why these people are losing, is because these guys and this guy has controlled the emotional narrative. Is because now the emotional narrative is these people are justifying and keeping people in the country that are raping little girls. Right? And that's the reason why they're losing. Is that I think that a lot of like left-wing reasoning is based completely off of emotion, and it's based off of like fear. And so if you can control that and you can use that against them, then the arguments that they have immediately fall apart. And so that's what's happened. Yeah, this is also emotional rhetoric. It is emotional rhetoric, but you have to fight fire with fire. And that's the reason why they're winning in the court of public opinion. That's the exact reason. It's because you're basically using stronger and more persuasive emotional rhetoric that people care more about. Yeah, it's the Uno reverse card. Exactly. That's also true of the Fang child rapists. Well, that's the point, right? And I think that's... Let's be real, it's emotional rhetoric, though. Yeah, no, and that's really what the difference is, too. And he's flipping the narrative back on them. And so that's really that's the reason why this has shifted, and that's the reason why a lot of public opinion has shifted as well. It's because they've lost the emotional moral battle in the minds of people. Is that they're no longer being seen as sticking up for the little guy. they're being portrayed as being running defense for terrorism, running defense for illegal gang members and rapists. And so as soon as you shift that narrative and you're able to paint them in that picture, well, then now the entire foundation that they built their entire argument off of doesn't exist. And so that's why there's been such a cultural shift against it. You see what my point is with this? I'm sorry, but it feels like you're showing bias here. I am biased. I agree with him. I want him out, like, for sure. I'm definitely biased about this. Absolutely. But I think it's important to follow the rules for sure. But I don't really know what the rules are entirely. But it seems to me like it would be odd if, like, you're taking a military action and that has to be, decided by a judge. It's a non-center issue. Yeah, exactly. And let me see if I can read a few more of these. You was in their narrative. What about factual reality? What's the actual extent of the problem? I don't think that the fact is that I don't think anybody really knows. Like, this is my view. Is that I don't really care whether these people get judicial process or not if they're illegal migrants from, like, foreign gangs. But if it says that they have to, then that they have to. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so, yeah, gang or not, probably illegal. Yeah, sure. But my point is that, and I'm just simply explaining the reason why this is happening, and the reason why you're seeing such a big shift against it. It's because these people have lost the emotional manipulation game. That's the main reason.
Figure out at what does the Trump administration do? If you do have separation of powers in this country, I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
you're saying the
separation of
district
powers.
court does
This
not
is the
have
judiciary
authority.
interfering
Stephen,
in
let me finish.
the executive. This is the separation of powers. That is the
Did you
separation.
ignore the judge's order here because you thought?
So, the judge's order and the actions taken by the Department of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are not But
so you think that you did go along with the orders that the judge put out? You do not think that the Trump administration defied this order?
As the Justice Department said, there is no conflict between the judge's order and the actions taken by the departments I just listed. So the district court has no.
They're so cooked, man. They are so cooked. Oh, God.
To in any way restrain the president's authority under the Alien Enemies Act or the ability to conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had engaged in intensive diplomacy to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can join that bilateral security agreement,
You made your argument. Say this. Did you ignore the administration the order from the district judge? Simple question.
I've answered it. I've answered it because this man is really positive. But let me make another point. The judge in this case put the law on every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No.
I think that this is more argumentation that this guy should use. And I think that the best type of emotional argumentation is the type that basically turns somebody's empathy into somebody else's suffering. And if you use that argumentation, it works very well on people. And I think that they should continue doing this and say this a lot more. Not this in particular, but in a general sense, I think absolutely this is the case. Because basically the problem is that the link is never really kind of explained to like an average listener or an average viewer of like how treating these people in a certain way or being more empathetic towards them ends up hurting other people. And I think that once you establish that link, then you completely gain the like emotional upper hand and like the moral upper hand.
This judge violated violated the law. He violated the Constitution.
So do
He
you
defied
think that
the
the White
system of government
House
that we
is
have
above
in this
federal
country.
courts? Because that does seem
And
to
by
be
the
what
way,
you're arguing.
these same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. These district court judges didn't issue any injunction to save the lives of Jocelyn
Is the
Nungary
White
or
House
Laken
above
Riley or
the
anyone
federal
else.
courts? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak
I will
for
do.
You're here to speak for the White House. I just
I
want you
will
to
walk
answer
through
that
it.
one simple question.
I am.
Okay?
Ready? Here we go.
She's upset.
Under a proper reading
This
of
is
the
number 4 of So You Think. Yeah, that's what happens, right? Is that the only way that thinking like this can exist is inside of a dishonest reframing.
Constitution. District court judges
Now he's using
provide
an emotional
relief
argument.
to individual plaintiffs.
That's why it's working.
Seeking relief.
The strongest argument is an argument. And if you want to win arguments, you don't do that to explain to them what you're right. You do that to them by making them feel good. And that's how you can get more people to vote for you. And that's how you can get people to go along with you. So it often doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It matters whether people think that you're right. And so if you use that as a weapon for your advantage, you will come out ahead. And I think that now, and that's something that I think Trump does very, very, very well. He's extremely good at that because he's been in media forever. Yeah, it's great manipulation. Yes, it is. But the debate and debating the actual points of the law, I don't think anybody really cares about that. Most people don't care about that. And to the extent that they do care about it, it's because they think that it's going to go in their direction. That's the reason why. But they should. Should isn't real. Should is stupid. There's no reason to think about in terms of shoulds.
District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to join the functioning of the executive branch, but their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked this question and never answered it. Did a judge enjoin treatment overseas? Did a district court judge enjoin treatment overseas?
Stephen,
Yes, sir.
I am not going to get into the
Just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
Just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that I'm
Stephen.
right.
Okay, we're not
No,
talking
it's
about
not.
other
Because
troops
the
overseas.
president.
I need to ask you about
It's
something
not.
else.
Man.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail
Doesn't know I got her again?
how
Yeah.
the Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media.
This is the whole thing. Yeah. And there's this annoying woman. Yeah, I guess so, right? Dumb CNN announcer? Yeah, I guess so. And executive branch has the authority to be the judge. These people have to be convicted for you to be deported. I'm not sure about that. I mean, if they sit and decide that they are a military target or something like that, I mean, I don't think that it's that simple. And the reality is that I don't think that any of us know whether that's true or not. Nobody here understands the interplay between 5 of these different laws. Yeah, it's been done. Yeah, exactly. I'm not really sure. I'm just wondering what he actually do to get deported. I mean, that's what they know. Yeah, I don't know. And all of a sudden, it's too complex. Well, what my point is that it makes sense to me that Trump can do this. If he's designating them as an invading force, it would make sense that he wouldn't have to go through judicial review, because most military actions don't have to go through that either. Every military action and every military, thing that happens doesn't have to go through judicial review either. So logically, I can see what their point of view is, and I think this is correct. But I'm not sure about it either, because I'm not an expert in this either. Does that make sense? Yeah, you don't receive rights as an American simply by crossing the border, not an invading force, but an invading force by a foreign government. Yeah, exactly. And if they were able to link the Venezuelan government to these people coming over, then I think that they have every justification to do that. Do they have a justification to send them to El Salvador? I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's really a law about that, right? I don't even know. So, and it sure feels right, even if it's not checkmate. Illegals have to go. Yeah, and I think that goes back to what I said originally, is that the idea that the president can't can deport people that are part of a criminal migrant gang that haven't that have crossed the border illegally, the idea that he can get rid of them, that feels like the right thing to do for, I would say, the majority of people. The majority of people would feel like, yeah, you know what, the president should probably be able to do that.
Jobs are not what they used to be. The average time an employee spends with their company is now at the lowest level ever, and that's by design. We have gone from full-time to part-time to casual to gig work, lowering the expectation of a long-term profession.
It's crazy how many people do like Uber, and they do Uber Eats or Lyft or some sort of thing like this. It's actually crazy how popular it is.
A relationship every step of the way. If
DoorDash,
studies have shown that many workplaces are now intentionally promoting the fear of job losses in an attempt to motivate workers and keep costs down.
That's smart. That's a good idea. Yeah, you got to make them think that they're on the ropes.
This is usually a really dumb idea. The death of job security is bad for workers and bad for companies, but nobody cares anymore.
So we have immediately seen, Andrew, layoffs.
Yep.
We have seen price increases, so that's inflation.
Teachers and staff at schools.
Well, it's also like, I mean, if they're paying more money, like the, what do you call it? Like the amount of money that like jobs are paying, like minimum wage goes up, they're going to be able to get better candidates, just in general. Like the more money you pay for a job, the better candidates you're going to get. Just on average. It's not a one-to-one, but there's this fucking extremely strong correlation.
Coast to coast could soon be out of the job.
Just 3 years, a record.
Musk said the company would look to reduce headcount by around 10%.
Layoffs are already piling up this year, and we're just a few weeks into 2024.
Up until the 1980s, it wasn't unusual for workers to spend their entire professional careers working with just one company. Company loyalty was highly valued by both employers and employees, and the threat of getting laid off or fired was incredibly low. If you ever want old films to see something point, just remember it actually was a big deal back then.
What was this one? The car salesman movie, Alec Baldwin. Oh, not Never Give an Inch. That's something else. Glengarry Glen Ross.
I remember seeing this, bro. This guy, like, Alec Baldwin, huge fucking asshole, great fucking actor. He was so good with this. Coffees for Closers, that's right. So good.
But according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, those days are long gone. The average tenure of young employees these days is less than a third of the baby boomers next year.
I think a lot of people also, this is encouraged by now that people are able to communicate more on the line. There is a very, very common assumption that, whether it's true or not is irrelevant. People think this, that the best way to increase your salary is to, instead of increasing your rank at your current job, is to hop between company to company and then get your salary up that way instead.
I don't want to sound too old here, but back in my day, people actually cared about losing their job. But today, getting fired or laid off from your company just makes good content to post on TikTok. This is a bad trend.
I don't agree with this. I think that's not true. I think the only reason he's saying that is because he's not looking at the single moms that get fired who lose their house. Like, go out there to the side of the street and talk to all those people and think about how easy was it for them to get laid off of their job. Yeah, for sure, some 19-year-old pretty girl is going to have this problem because, she can find a guy to live with or she can go back and live with her parents. But for, like, an average person, getting fired from your job is absolutely fucking life-changing. It's not even a question.
Because it takes away their biggest stick. The fear of getting fired is always going to be a motivator in the workplace. There really is no way around that. Losing your job can cause too much trouble for the company and you are able to lose your job.
Well, that's the way it should be. If you're not doing your job, you get fired. Yeah, wow, what a fucking surprise. We're gonna act like this is bad? Yeah, no shit.
Benefits that come with it. However, would say that will only make someone work just hard enough to not get fired. The death of job security means that people just expect to lose their job at some point in their career these days. But there are 3 big reasons why it was allowed to get this bad, and 3 reasons why nobody really cares anymore. The first reason is that companies give up on training their own staff. there is an old joke about company staffing that goes something like this. The CEO and head of HR are arguing about the cost to train staff. The CEO asks, what would happen if we spent all this money and they quit? To which the head of HR responds, what happens if we don't spend the money and they stay? But as more people move jobs more often, the CEO's argument is actually starting to make sense. Research conducted by Peter Capelli, the director of the Wharton School's Center for Human Resources, found that the time and money spent on staff training within companies has fallen drastically. In 1979, the average worker received 2.5 weeks on the job training every single year.
It's also, if you keep rotating employees regularly for easy jobs that don't require a lot of like intuitive thinking or critical thinking, you're able to keep salaries lower. Because, you know, like a lot of the times whenever people get cut from jobs, like there's actually even laws against this, where like you can't just cut people because their salary has gotten too high. Well, think about why there's laws against it. Well, there's laws against it because that's what people try to do.
2004, it was just 11 hours, and most of that was safety training, not developing new skills. A more recent follow-up survey conducted by the same team in 2011 found that only 1/5 of workers who received on-the-job training at companies don't want to train people because they are leaving their jobs more frequently than they used to, so they are only willing to hire employees that are already able to do the job. Standardized systems have made this a lot easier for them to do. If you are a professional office worker, it's almost a prerequisite to have a basic proficiency in Microsoft Office. And every profession now has its own industry standard productivity program. If you are a creative, you use Adobe Sales, use HubSpot or comparable CRM. And if you're in marketing, you need to know your way around a box of crayons. Oh, and the advertising analytics backend of Google, Meta, and LinkedIn. Since these skills have become the standard for all employees, companies can hire people that are already ready to work on day one. Where in the past, they would
why would you want to? Well, it's like, yeah, of course. It's like if you're in a raiding guild, would you want to gear somebody up or just recruit somebody to the guild that's geared? Oh, it's a lot easier to recruit the guild that's geared. Like, why would you want to gear up a whole new person? Yeah, want the easier way? Yeah, exactly. It's not any question.
Lengthy training program on the unique in-house systems of that particular company.
Yeah.
But standardized programs have also meant that people can find a new job that they are qualified for with less barriers, which means they switch jobs more often, which means companies invest less into training unloyal staff, which creates even more need for industry.
It's also because people don't have upward mobility inside of their own jobs. I don't know if he's going to cover this at all, but this is probably, I think, one of the biggest reasons. It's because, like, Blizzard, ironically, is actually one of the companies that at least I'm aware of that doesn't have this problem, where there is a lot of upward mobility, but or at least there used to be. But with a lot of companies, you're kind of like, bracketed in, where you can only go like maybe 3 positions above your current one before you'd have to join another company and then do 3 more and then go back to your original company, and then somehow now you're qualified to do the job that they said that they weren't going to hire you for fucking 5 years ago. 3 is already too much? Sure, I'm just throwing out a number. Same with salary bumps? Yeah, definitely, right? That's the reason why.
Standard systems. The ultimate incarnation of this trend is platform-based gig work.
There it is.
The professional relationship for this kind of work lasts as long as
This is the beginning of neo-feudalism, by the way, where you have a lot of people whose job it is to only drive around other people with more money than them. This is the beginning. We're seeing it. It's right in front of us. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. It's happening, and it's going to get worse every year. It's just a taxi. It's like, dude, Uber and Lyft is, I would say, 20x or 50x more prevalent and more common than a taxi. Way more. And it didn't really have food delivery except for like a couple of places, like pizza places, maybe Chinese, a couple of other places that deliver. Now everything's got it.
That's right. And riders often work between multiple apps at the same time to maximize earning and digital downtime. If you want to get ahead in a professional space, I'm sorry to tell you, but you are going to have to invest some of your own time and money into training yourself, even if it's just to generate those qualifications. Which means if you quit or get laid off, it's not as big.
My perspective on this is always lie and cheat on every resume that you possibly can, because the company will do the exact same thing to you given the opportunity. Only don't do that in situations where you can be held criminally liable for not doing it, or in situations where it will be immediately disproven and it can be damaging. Other than that, lie about everything and mislead them as much as you can, because they'll do the same thing to you.
A deal for either party. But the decline of on-job training is just the first reason. So it's time to learn how money works, to find out why job security is dying, why nobody cares, and what happens when nobody has a job for long enough to be good at it. This week's lesson is sponsored by Manscaped. Just in time for Father's Day, Manscaped introduces the must-have gifts for every dad. Meet the Handyman and the Weed Whacker 2.0. First up, the Handyman, the face shaver designed for dads.
As a hiring manager, I'll figure out your lies. You're right, but there's places that don't have good hiring managers, and that's what you got to rely on.
Long hair leveler blade,
that's why you go with the shotgun approach.
A close, smooth shave, tackling up to 3 days of growth effortlessly. What makes the Handyman exceptional is its skin-safe technology, significantly reducing the risk of nicks and cuts, and its waterproof design, making it easy to rinse under the faucet. Now onto the Weed Whacker 2.0. This nose and ear trimmer is perfect for dads looking to manage those tricky areas.
No work for companies or contractors.
It features a 7,000 RPM motor and a 360-degree rotary dual-blade system for efficient grooming. The Weed Whacker 2.0 is cordless, waterproof, and it comes with a high-performance battery that lasts up to 45 minutes, ensuring it's always ready when dad needs it. Don't settle for ordinary gifts like coffee mugs this Father's Day. Opt for something from Manscaped like the Handyman or the Weed Whacker 2.0 and help dad elevate his grooming game from caveman to gentleman.
Yeah, they sent me stuff, but I never really use it.
And use promo code HMW20 and get 20% off plus free international shipping. Make this Father's Day one to remember with Manscaped. The death of job security is bad news for companies, even if they were the ones that caused it. The simple fact is that when you get a new job, you aren't going to be very good at what you do until you learn your new role. Standardized systems have made it easier to transfer basic competencies between companies, but even little things like who you talk to about authorizing your expense reports, the names and faces of clients, or how the office printer works, they all take time for new people to learn. According to a study conducted by Gallup, a business analytics company, it takes the average employee 12 months before they reach their full performance potential in their new role.
This is like a whole study done on this about how like adding more people to a software project actually makes it take longer. I forgot what the term is for it, but it's a well-known and documented phenomenon.
Studies have suggested that new employees are not fully autonomous
Mythical
in
Man
responsibilities for the first 18 months of their employment.
Is that it? I didn't hear that before.
Are only spending 3 years in their jobs on average, that means they are going to be spending a third of their career just getting up to speed in their new role. That means a loss of productivity for the companies they work for, right? Wrong. Worker productivity is actually at all-time highs.
It is.
So that begs the question, is this in spite of lower job security or because of it? The second reason that job security has...
I think a big reason is also because jobs have been optimized. So a worker can produce more product and more output because their job has been min-maxed more by people whose job it is to min-max jobs and technology. So like there's a lot of reasons why workers are more productive that actually doesn't have anything to do with workers. It's because the people that min-max jobs are getting better at it every year. And technology gets better every year. This is a bullshit take? No, I'm just completely right, and it's obvious. Yeah, there's literally no... If you're arguing against this, you're dumb.
The dying is that it's a great motivation tool. If the fear of losing your job is only enough to motivate you to do the bare minimum to avoid that tap on the shoulder, then you should know that companies have responded by moving those goalposts. A study conducted by economists at Manchester and Cardiff University looked at the motivating factor of what they called manufacturing job uncertainty. In this report, researchers tried to work out why the numbers of job security was going up, even when the rates of people being fired from full-time positions was stable.
It's the same reason why people that are probably afraid of shark attacks go up during Shark Attack Week. It's because people are talking about layoffs all the time. It's like there's not that many people getting attacked by sharks, but whenever you're reading posts about it every day, you think, holy fuck, man, I better not take a bath. There might be a shark in there. That's the reason. It's the same reason, like, this is going to be a spicy one, okay? It's going to get some people mad. Get ready. It's the same reason for, like, false rape activity. People think that it happens all the time. Bro, it's like a low single-digit percentage of the ones that are actually found out to be fake. Super, super, super uncommon, extremely fucking rare.
It's by comparing companies in America and the UK.
But because they're so upsetting and they're so unfair, everybody talks about them. And because everybody's talking about them, you think that they're happening all the time. But they're not. It's the same thing as streaming. oh, I want to be a streamer so I can be rich. No, there's like 50 streamers that are like that. Nobody else is.
Who are very happy to lay people off to appease
Sharks
shareholders.
are not a reason to not take a shower.
And
explain Sharknado.
Firing people. A small tangent, but Japanese businesses actually take firing people so seriously that they have an alternative practice called oidashi bei.
Is this what they give them shitty jobs? Like,
this loosely translates to workers' purgatory.
Yeah.
According to Japan Intercultural Consulting, a firm that advises businesses operating in the Japanese market, workers' purgatory happens when an employee chronically underperforms in their role. Instead of getting fired, they are typically placed in a room, often windowless, where they have nothing to do.
Yep.
In many cases, their business cards are taken away. And they are forced to do menial, time-limited tasks that given no value at all.
yeah, if you clear out the rats down here, Milton. Yeah.
UK. What The Economists found was that even when job tenure wasn't actually
Milton
being
treatment,
reduced
yep.
by layoffs or firings, changes to corporate control and especially company mergers or acquisitions raised uncertainty. Companies noticed that by hyping up this uncertainty and making workers compete against each other to maintain the position in a theoretical downsizing, they could get people to work harder.
Absolutely.
Companies doing this would rank the performance of their teams and compare them.
And also, it's good to keep people fighting against each other so they don't think about fighting against you. So, like, if the workers are too busy getting mad and resenting each other, they stop thinking about the fact that you've engineered the situation to happen in the first place.
Another, highlight staff errors, downplay strong performers so that managers and their teams always felt like their job was at risk.
Yeah.
The Japanese firms, despite actually having shorter tenures for managers and operating with more business uncertainty thanks to a weaker overall economy, had a higher sense of job security, mainly thanks to a culture of protecting workers even at the expense of shareholders.
I think that it's very important to keep in mind, somebody in chat brought this up. I would bet, I don't know this, but I would bet that Japan probably has a lot stricter labor laws and you probably can't fire people as easily as you can here in the US. And that probably plays a bigger role than any other cultural reason. But you could also say that those laws are informed by the cultural reasons, so it's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario.
In a wonderful twist of fate, though, the study also found that this is not really working on younger employees. Decades of well-publicized layoffs means that younger managers have no expectation of job security and aren't afraid of losing jobs as much as older managers who come from a time when people could spend their entire careers with one company. The rank and yank strategy only works to boost productivity for so long. A company should get rid of bad employees, but if it makes everybody feel on edge about their jobs forever, then even the best employees are just going to look for better opportunities elsewhere.
I think that the bigger problem is the lack of upward mobility. I think that's the real reason. It's people that are like 28 and they've been at the same job and they feel like they're ready to be promoted, but they can't get promoted because maybe they don't have like maybe a master's degree. So they have to join another company that doesn't have that requirement. And then they come back and then they have to, they are effectively applying to the same job with experience from that job that they're applying from, even though they didn't need that requirement somewhere else. That's the real reason. That's the actual, I think that's a much bigger factor with like employees over like 26 or 28, if I had to guess, from like, conversations I've had with friends and stuff like that.
Younger workers have also realized that changing jobs more frequently, especially early in their career, is the best way to move up the corporate ladder and secure pay increases. I will say it in every video I can, but if you want to increase your earnings in your career, multiple studies suggest that the best way to do this is to change jobs roughly every 2 years, and always be on the lookout for better opportunities. Companies do not value staff loyalty anymore, because they can't. And that's the third reason why job security...
It's not because they can't, it's because they don't have to. The companies only valued that in the past because it was the most effective way for them to make money. The companies never actually cared about you. It's just that caring about you was a secondary outcome to them seeking the highest profits possible. Now that that's no longer possible or it's no longer necessary, then they don't care about you anymore. They only cared about you as a byproduct of a greater goal.
Dying. It costs businesses a lot of money to hire new employees, and then more money to pay them while they're getting good at their job. If they are hiring externally for a more senior position, they will also need to pay that new hire more than an internal promotion. So if it makes no sense, then why do companies keep doing this? Well, it's easier. An internal promotion means someone else needs to be promoted to fill that person's position, and someone else needs to be promoted to fill theirs. Now, instead of your company having one employee in a new job, it has 5.
That's a good point.
Hiring managers could do this, or they could just hire an external candidate that already knows the systems and then get back to scrolling Reddit in their office.
Right.
Workers
Most
also
importantly.
don't believe in job stability either. Things like employee pension plans and career development are all the responsibility of the worker now. And if they are accepting that responsibility, they also want the freedom that comes with it. Some companies like consulting, legal, and accounting firms have built their entire workforce around limited time employees. Overworked, underpaid graduates will stick it out in entry-level roles because they know it looks good on the resume when they apply for a real job in 2 years.
Which is true, though. The fact is that, like, being and having one of those jobs is absolutely true, that it helps you a lot. It is, and that's the problem, is that, like, it shouldn't be true, but it is. That's why people take unpaid internships. Absolutely.
Companies can attract high-performing workers by bragging about how secure they are. Even companies that were considered American institutions have fallen apart too many times for people to think that their job is secure. And job security isn't a selling point worth taking a job for.
I don't think that people are viewing job security as an outcome of the companies falling apart or going bankrupt. Like, unless you're Enron, the Lehman Brothers, or, you know, a handful of other places, like a game studio, for example, it's probably not going to happen in this way. That's not the real reason.
People have learned not to care. So, congratulations, corporate America. You kind of played yourself. There's so much more I want to say on this topic, but it wouldn't make for a good YouTube video. For things like that, make sure you're subscribed to my totally free email newsletter Compounded Daily if you want to get articles that can't be made into videos. The bonus 4th reason that job security is dead is this man right here. Go and watch my new video to find out how an unremarkable chemical engineer worked his way up to personally reshape corporate America into what it is today, all while destroying his company in the process.
What a good guy.
To keep on learning how money works.
What a nice dude. How about that? Well, I figured I'd watch this since I haven't talked about this stuff in a while. But I think it's actually a pretty big problem. I think it's happening, obviously, like with gaming. It's a huge thing. What's this here? Whenever I ask for a raise, my boss makes veiled threats saying if you can't keep up with your workload, we'll bring on other people. Well, what you should do, again, like, my perspective is that this is the way I am in a guild or anything like that. I'm always only in it for myself, and the only times that I help other people or go beyond the scope of what I need to do are in cases where it will be eventually advantageous to myself. I am always advocating for myself directly and myself primarily. If I help other people in the process, then that's usually a good thing, and I will try to do that. But I always put myself first, I put my interests first, and I do what's best for me in all circumstances, even if it's at the detriment of the organization. If it's at the detriment of the company, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad. Because, again, I don't care about it. I care about me. That's it. That's it. It's a company. Well, this is different, right? Now, right? Much more stressful. Like, it was much less stressful whenever I didn't have to give a shit. You know, now that I'm in a leadership position, now I do have to give a shit. Now I have to worry about all these little things, and it's, oh god, there's a lot going on, right? But like back whenever it was just me looking out for me, it was way easier. It absolutely was. So yeah. But if you're not covering those other people, then that's not going to be it. Stupid, but indeed the truth? No, it is. Like, you can look it up and see yourself. Now, there's different ways of reporting on limit. There are ways that take that into consideration and ways that don't take that into consideration. I don't know if the way that they reported on this video does do that. I am assuming that it doesn't.
Looking for a job, full-time job, there's a lot that goes into it. Filling out applications online can be tedious and can be time-consuming and can be really stressful. Every day just feels like Groundhog Day. You're waking up with the same thing.
When I look at the data, if you just apply into a job through a job board, the odds of you getting hired are 3%. So you have a chance to get. When you go to lots and lots of just responses,
yeah, sure.
and it's exhausting. A 2020
2023 study from Ffxiv that mentions applicants being ghosted by their prospective employers.
I don't agree with this. This is a bad term. This is a bad graph. Ghosting is a social word. Sorry, it's like a buzzword now, or a slang word. It's a slang word. So obviously, people using the word ghosting was less popular in 2016 because the term wasn't widely acknowledged by the public. So if you're putting it in this, why would you put this? This is so bad.
We often drop down and send out tons and tons of applications and don't hear back, and that's very emotionally and taxing.
It's unprofessional as well, so especially if you're going to take time to let them know.
I think it's because of technology. It's easy to put up a job.
Yeah.
There's so many people to see that job. So when you get such a overwhelming response, it's often very difficult to get back to every single solitary candidate. Certainly, the Great Resignation market was at a fever pitch. Companies were being ghosted by candidates, which is something that hadn't happened as much in the past. So we've seen it happen on both sides of the fence. A lot of it is caused by just sheer volume.
The time it takes for a company to hire an employee also hit an all-time high, at an average of 44 days during the first quarter of 2023, with some industries like the energy and defense sector taking more than 67 days to hire.
The application process has been getting longer and longer, with going through multiple rounds and doing assessments. My first experience.
I haven't looked for a job in over 10 years. How true is this? It's very true? Okay.
And so far it was with a large financial institution where I had a phone screen with them, and I also had a Zoom interview with one of the team members. After that, I had a case study where I was given very vague instructions. They got back to me and said that the team didn't feel like there was enough, so they gave me another attempt. In the end, I just ended up just going back to my career and saying, like, I'm sorry, I don't think this is the best fit. Because even if I did move forward and they were okay with my revision, there still would have been 3 more interviews.
A lot of employers.
Jesus, that's insane. 3 more interviews. Oh my God. You can't make me believe there's a shortage of jobs in this country whenever there's 23 cash registers at Walmart and only 3 cashiers. What do you mean by that? Because I think that's actually evidence that there is a shortage. Because they don't need to hire more of them. Because now they just have self-checkout. It's a company thing. Walmart decides to not open the registers or hire more people. Yeah, exactly. I wish I could have experienced the time when you could fucking walk into the building and ask if you can work there, and they go, nah, we're full, or yeah, sure, bro. Well, like Peaky Blinders or something like that. You just walk into the warehouse and you say, hey, you guys hiring? And then that's it? Oh, fuck. I don't know, right? I mean, I'm sure there were problems then, too.
That doing more interviews is a good thing, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Most job interviews are not doing anything important. They don't know that the questions they're asking are going to reveal anything about whether you are a good candidate or not. They don't know when they ask the question what the right answer is. And this is a development that's been going on for a while. It's not a good
I've
thing.
always thought that job interviews were also like, unless you're getting a job at NASA, they're like a vibe check. It's like if this person is like obnoxious or weird, you just don't hire them. It's like, okay, yeah, I mean, like they got the questions right, but they're fucking annoying, and so I don't want to have this person, I don't want this person in the building again. Like that, yeah, a sanity check. I mean, fuck. That's my opinion. Do they smell bad? What do they look like?
Stronger? You would
do they dress? Yeah.
There are generally 2 terms economists use to describe the state of the job market: tight and loose.
Usually when economists talk about a tight labor market, they mean hot, essentially. And mostly what that means is it is difficult for employers to find workers. And so in that context, employers tend to be more hesitant to lay off workers. They tend to try to be more aggressive about how they hire, whether that means offering bonuses or offering on-the-job training. By contrast, a loose labor market or cold labor market is one
I'd
where
expect it was the
there
opposite.
might be layoffs, it might
Based
be
off the terms.
hiring freezes, it might be difficult to find a job for
Like loose, you just let as many people in as possible, right?
trying to enter the workforce.
That's usually what it means.
The American labor market has remained extremely tight following the end of the pandemic.
so many companies had to scale back during the pandemic. And then all at once, companies were able to hire again as their businesses started to move. So you had so many job openings happening all at the same time.
Job openings surged to historic highs, while the country continued to struggle from a devastating labor shortage. With so many plentiful job prospects, even working Americans quit their jobs at a record pace for new jobs, in a trend that came to be known as the Great Resignation.
Smart.
But the job market is beginning to show signs of cooling.
There's less of a frenzy on the part of the employers. If you're somebody who wants a job, you would like a frenzy on the part of the employers, because you would like to have lots of people trying to hire you.
I think one interesting thing about the job market right now is that it is strong, but the hiring rate is low, and similarly, the layoff rate is actually very low.
The layoff and discharge rate in the US has been hovering near historic lows.
Like if I was running a company and it was like a tech company, I would be extremely hesitant to hire hardly anybody because of just how fast technology is moving right now. Because like I feel like every 2 years they have to like completely readjust what's happening with like AI and automation right now. It's crazy. Like it's really fast, and so it would make sense that they're just kind of waiting and seeing. Don't you on Starforge? I mean, no. I mean, Starforge is like, it's manufacturing primarily, right? Like you're putting things physically in a PC. You can't really automate that as easily as you can automate like a code or something. So yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Or like you can have like, you know, self-checkout. Like it's a symbol. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily like that. For now, of course it isn't for now, right? But like, I'm saying right now.
Despite the barrage of layoffs reported
What might be going on here is that employers are hesitant to lay off push workers out because of their experience with labor shortages. But on the flip side, that a lot of workers are sitting tight, quitting, not being laid off, so there's opportunities to ignore for folks who are trying to break into those roles.
Research from LinkedIn found that job seeker search intensity in the U.S. grew by 27% in 2023. One open job for every active.
Well, that seems pretty
One job for every 2 applicants.
Right now in the marketplace, what we're seeing is both employers and employees being a little bit more selective.
If it was search insensitive, I would assume that the frequency of the searches or how in depth they go, like I don't know, probably like you can measure that in like 5 different ways.
Everybody's taking a little bit more of a measured approach right now, being a little bit more selective in their choices, and that's why we've seen a little bit of a cooling in the marketplace.
Yeah.
However, experts reassure that the cooling labor market is no reason for concern yet.
It is important to have a perspective that's a little more historical. With your compared to your great job.
I think that sentiment is outcomes minus expectations. So in 2021, 2022, there were labor shortages, companies were hiring very aggressively, and so even if 2024 is shaping up to be a relatively healthy labor market.
I think that he's talking to like a lot of people's parents probably grew up in like the 70s. And I know like in the 70s, like there was like a lot of really bad economic problems then too. And like the, late 70s and shit. So yeah, Jimmy Carter, basically. So I do think that what he's saying does track. I don't think he's out of pocket for saying that. Okay, so? Well, what he's saying is that their situation was also very bad as well.
By recent comparison, it doesn't feel quite as strong.
The cool down in the labor market was also what the Federal Reserve had intended with its series of interest rate hikes.
If you are the Federal Reserve and you want to slow the economy down, that means you want to slow economics down. Yes. The biggest market is the labor market. If you look at what employers do, there's a business is mainly going to labor. So you can't easily cool the economy down unless you cool the labor market down.
Experts also noted that the health of the labor market will largely rely on where the economy is headed next.
If the economy does slow down more significantly in 2024, if we see a recession in 2024, the labor market can be somewhat resilient, but it can't fully buck the broader economic trends. And so that's definitely something we want to watch out for in 2024. It's not a guarantee that the job market is going to remain as strong. Broadly speaking, we might have some optimism about the economy. That doesn't necessarily mean that the job search is an easy process.
I guess the big thing I would say is it's not you. It's not you. It's happening to thousands of others, hundreds of thousands of people at the same point.
Yeah.
And it has to do with what's going on in the bigger economy. It has to do with uncertainty, but it also has to do with a lot of quirkiness inside employers about how they handle hiring these days.
Definitely difficult out there, but I just encourage you not to give up and still keep diving into your network and stay tight with family and friends, just to give you.
I mean, she tried to get didn't she say she applied to hundreds of jobs? She didn't get a job. I wouldn't take advice from her.
The emotional support that you might be lacking at the moment, and to give you that confidence that you can do it.
I think that obviously a lot of people aren't looking for a job at all, and so they're not being counted in a lot of unemployment figures. And overall, it makes sense that less people are going to have jobs, because really the amount of jobs that there are for people that don't have like a skilled degree, they're going to be going down because those applications are going to be automated. They already have been in a lot of cases. Like, that's why, like, how many of you guys have gone through a customer support like portal and you've talked to an AI? I've had to do that before. And then, like, if there is a problem, then you get referred to a person, because like they're not really. So this is what's going to happen, is they're going to use these tools to kind of like filter in or filter out all of the super easy solution things, right? Like, I lost my password. Can you give me a new password? Okay, this is a simple thing that a computer can do, right? Here, I'll give you actually a really great example that we all know and that works very well. And also, like, we're talking about something like AI. Really, it doesn't matter about AI or not AI. It's really just having technology that's available that replaces the jobs of people that are working there. So, like, here's an example. In World of Warcraft, do you remember whenever you used to have to ticket a GM to get your item restored? Well, now you don't have to do that anymore, because you can just go on the website and there's a list of all the items and you can restore them yourself. So that's a job that GMs had to do, and now they don't do that job anymore. They removed the option. I don't know if they did or not, because there are no GMs. It's automation. Yeah, it's just simply automation. And so automation is going to get better, and that's just what's going to happen. And it will remove a lot of people's jobs from the economy. It absolutely will. Depends on the field. Healthcare is looking bleak right now, but you're still generally secure. Essential jobs are always secure. Fast food and customer service and tech, that's dangerous. Well, the problem with this, and this is kind of like what I'm saying, is that, like, you bring up a really good point, is that fast food and customer service, these are jobs that people that are, like, this is my opinion, and this might get me in a little bit of trouble, but this is my opinion. I think that people have a certain level of talent points, right? Or skill points. And I don't think everybody starts with the same level of talent points. And I think that you can work hard and get a few extra ones, but there's also a certain degree of RNG, of spawn RNG to it. So the reality is that not everybody can be an engineer, because not everybody can think like an engineer. Not everybody can think on that level. Not everybody can go and be a doctor and memorize everything and understand all of these different diseases and problems and be able to work with people. It's just not going to happen. And so the problem with, like, removing jobs like fast food and customer service is that there is a tremendous amount of people that exist on, like, that lower quarter of, like, just capacity. And it's like, what are those people going to do? Because those are the jobs that are getting replaced very quickly, because these are just simple, like, I need a person to hit a button. Eventually, they will find a robot that will hit that button instead. And so what do you do with all of those people? Because all of those people, like, it's not realistic to expect all of them to go and just, oh, okay, we'll just go get a degree in law and become a lawyer. And also be a handyman. I think that you guys might not understand, like, being an electrician, being a plumber, like, I've seen the way that electricians and plumbers solve problems. They're not stupid. Like, this isn't like, it is not a job that you sit at an office and you're, like, looking over, like, actuarial tables for. But these guys are not stupid. And I don't think that you can take somebody who is struggling at a call center or something like that, and they can't figure out that. You can't put them in the job of a fucking certified electrician and expect things to go well. I really just don't think so. Yeah, they're smarter than college-educated professors. Well, I'll tell you this, right? I've got a friend, Cody, one of his, just one of the linemen. Dude was making $98 an hour, sitting on his ass, on call, doing nothing, ain't doing shit. But he did have a conversation with me about how some dude got killed on the job like 2 weeks ago. It's like, you know, this is a conversation point. And so you gotta watch out. But there it is. People thinking blue collar will survive don't understand who's paying for the plumber and electrician. What if they can't pay because their jobs went to AI? Well, I mean, I think that you're definitely right about that. But I think that's really what the issue is that we are always going to have like a mass market of unskilled laborers, right? Because there's just people that are stupid and they're not going to get it. Like, you can explain it to them. Like, how many times you guys have like played WoW and there's a person that you raided with and you raided with them for 3 years and they've been garbage every year. And you can explain it to them and they don't get it. And like finally, whenever you kill the boss, it's whenever they didn't get the mechanic. It's like you do Mythic Star Augur, they didn't get Grand Conjunction at all during the fight, the boss dies. Thank fucking God. And like, you know, this is like 50, 100 attempts in, it's like, oh my God, you still can't figure this out. How can you deal with this? Or they're not there. Yeah, they put in the work to have early, to have those positions, they're smart, and they understand they're valuable, much more so than some 8-year degrees. I think that there's a lot of people that are engineers that have 8-year degrees that are incredibly smart, really intelligent, doctors, people that work in finance, but I don't, obviously I'm not a believer of the, you know, like, if you work with your hands, you're stupid, right? I mean, this is, I mean, come on, like, these, who's telling you this? A teacher in high school that makes less than, like, what some of these guys make in a month, in a year? And they're the ones calling them stupid. Like, they're saying, oh, you want to be a garbage man. Well, why not? What is this? So yeah, no, I definitely agree with you with that. I think it's a stupid mindset to have. But definitely, I think the big problem is that you're going to have a lot of people that are in these low-skill jobs, and what the hell are they going to do whenever their low-skill job gets turned into a machine? Like, a lot of the people that are working at, they're working at McDonald's. Like, these are people, a lot of times, that they barely speak English. Like, where are you going to put them besides that? Like, after they stop working at McDonald's, where are they going to work besides McDonald's? They're going to go to Wendy's? Well, then Wendy's has it too. You think McDonald's isn't cutting back on humans? I think it is, and that's my whole point, right? Is that McDonald's is a job for people that have, like, low skill, like low communication skills to work at and to do it. But if McDonald's doesn't exist, where do they go instead? And I think it's a huge problem. Twitch versus YouTube streaming revenue.
I see people debate on what's better to stream on YouTube or Twitch, and it's a question I get asked a lot because I'm like Constantine, the man who is on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I am the same it's the chemical X to stream. I have said since switching to multi-streaming, every single person should be multi-streaming. Contracts don't exist anymore except for on Kick, and even that I think is gone. There are no Twitch contracts. There are no YouTube contracts. They've gone extinct like the saber-toothed tiger. You know, like they have wiped their ass with contracts to creators. So I think you are making a big mistake if you just marry yourself to one of those platforms instead of just doing both. Because you can. When people talk about this...
I think that's true, and it's also not true. I think that on YouTube it's definitely true. On Twitch, I think it's less true. So the reason why I think it's less true with Twitch is because of the way that the discovery on Twitch works. So, for example, if you're looking for the top streams right now, well, you would see me right here on the top row. Like, I would be right here on the top, and my content would be elevated above other people's because of my current placement in the directory. But the difference is that if I had my viewers split between YouTube and Twitch, and be aware that anybody doing this, you will have people, your viewership will be lower if you stream on both platforms at the same time. Because some people will choose to go on one platform, and some people will choose to go on another platform. You might have it higher over, like, let's say, you know, you have instead of 20K on one platform, you have 15K on two platforms, right? It might be more, but there's still, you know, a lower amount, right, with discovery. So it really depends on where you're at. That's an assumption. Well, what I'm saying is that on Twitch has a snowball effect that causes people who are getting a lot of viewers to get more viewers.
Subject, they only give like the basic rundown, like the nutsack summary of pros and cons. I haven't seen anyone really go over numbers. I'm going to go over numbers.
Ooh.
And I really think that the numbers here tell a very complete story of why multi-streaming should be the norm for streamers. It's in their best interest.
All right,
and
let's
for
see the
viewers too,
numbers.
because then viewers have a choice on, do they want to watch it on Twitch where they're going to have a much more interactive chat experience, or do they want to watch it on YouTube where they don't care about the chat experience because it's a lot
just
more
better
dog
video
shit
quality.
there.
Yeah.
Basically non-existent chat culture on YouTube streaming, but the playback is a lot smoother, a lot higher quality, and you can rewind it, which is a nice quality of life change. Also, it's a lot better on mobile. Mobile has been a fucking disaster for me for as long as I've tried to watch Twitch on my phone. Also, the ads on Twitch, they're getting outrageous. YouTube streaming doesn't have nearly as many ads, which is a nice breath of fresh air.
Twitch ads, like so let me actually look and see for myself. Oh, it's gone up a little bit. But like for a while, Twitch was going down. Because I do feel like ad density has caused people to like maybe move away a little bit. But from what I've discovered and from what I've seen, I haven't been able to observe that, so it's hard really for me to say. Why don't you have ads? Basically what happened is that I didn't have ads on my channel, and then Twitch said, well, now you have to have ads on your channel. I said, okay, that's fine. And so then I got ads taken off of Twitch entirely, and so now we don't have ads anymore. Yeah, so there it is.
Like, there are real pros and cons to both, but these are just the basics. And these talking points have been worn out more than my pussy after eating anything with spice in it. So I'm not just going to be Baby Bird vomiting the same talking points you've heard a million times. Instead, I want to show you the numbers.
Okay,
I want to bring up my biggest, most profitable stream I ever did on Twitch and then break it down a little bit. It was in 2022 when Moist Esports won the Rocket League Major. Still one of the best moments I've ever had streaming. I peaked at 75,000 live viewers. It was a very long stream that I did, and it took home 11.7K for that whole stream. Roughly 2,000 subs, but most of it came through ads, and most of those subs were primes. Subbing on Twitch is far more common than members joining on YouTube.
True.
Membership on YouTube is the equivalent of a Twitch sub, where someone on YouTube pays $1. So like
it's not that much, to be honest. Well, I'll show you the day that I had. If you look at, for me, I can't show YouTube, by the way. I apologize, I can't show YouTube. But yeah, 56,000. But that was a lot of gifty boys, right? A lot of gifted subs, a lot of that. But even Prime subs was 13,000, and so that was a whole lot. But even like both of our numbers are low compared to somebody who's spamming ads. So like, and there's one component to this that I think matters a lot is ad density, because I remember seeing some of the FaZe guys and their payouts, and they had really big payouts because of their ad density and how many ads they were running.
One sub on YouTube for my channel is $1. On Twitch, the minimum's $5, but it's the same concept. You pay money and it's a subscription, basically. And that is so much more common on Twitch. So 2,000 subs on that Twitch stream is more than I've ever got through a YouTube live stream by a large.
I'm not surprised.
And 11.7K is the most profitable stream I ever had in my entire 7 years on Twitch. I actually streamed on Justin TV before it came. Before it became Twitch, I used to do like World at War Zombies on there and shit. But then I took like a long hiatus and then came back in like 2016. But this was the biggest stream I've ever done.
Right.
I then switched to multi-streaming last year.
Okay.
And what I've learned is Twitch is much higher potential to earn money while live than YouTube. And it's because of things like the Twitch Primes, which have become a pretty integral part of the Twitch ecosystem, and ads. Twitch actually has more ads than YouTube, and thus, since more ads are playing, that's more money being generated from those ads to the streamers.
Sure.
There's so fucking many ads on Twitch. They pump ads out the wazoo, and they are so intrusive. I wouldn't be surprised if...
Should I say? I remember I was talking with Schlatt, and he was showing me, because he would do long-form videos and put tons of ads in them with his YouTube videos. Absolutely fucking farming. Massively fucking farming, right? And so people, you can do the same thing on Twitch. Like if you spam ads, you can make so much fucking money if you spam ads. Like there's people that are making the majority of their revenue from just spamming ads. So like if you do, I think that like you really have to compare the amount of ads that you're spamming and the amount of like ads that you're running. Because like there are some people that don't really run any ads. Like for example, like me, Hassan, a few other people don't really run any ads. But there's other people that run ads all the time. Like I know Kai runs ads a lot. You know, like Lacey runs ads a lot. Tons of people run ads a lot. And so Flats Overwatch does ads. Well, yeah, right? And so Imru spams ads. I have no idea. But like what I'm saying is that Thor does it, Ninja does it, I'm not sure. But my point is that a lot of people do it, and the reason why they're doing it is it makes a lot of money. But you can also put the ads in your YouTube as well. So it depends on the ad density.
Twitch integrates a system into their player
Russell
that has
spams
like eye
ads.
tracking
Of course he
capability.
does.
So if a viewer looks away during an ad break, it'll pause the ad till their eyes are glued right back to it to finish the ad. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's so fucking annoying, man. Yeah, and doesn't that bite you in the long run as a streamer, that is? I have seen no evidence so far that a streamer has had a long-term decrease in viewership because of a low amount of ads. Or sorry, a high amount of ads. I haven't seen any evidence for that. Now, obviously, people can give personal testimony, but that doesn't really matter a lot to me than statistics, right? And so, like, I haven't seen that happen yet. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been going on for 4 years. I think that we probably would have seen it happen. But yeah, because you leave and come back and the ads aren't that bad. Yeah, basically. I disagree. I will literally click off the stream if I have 8 ads. You disagree with my general statement by asserting your personal anecdote? Okay, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your input. So, you know, I haven't seen any evidence this happen in the big picture.
Live streamers that have all of these ad breaks that are going on. So Twitch has a higher earning potential through live content.
Right.
And the VODs on Twitch don't make any money. Like, they just don't. I don't even know if they're fucking monetized. If they are, I don't know if streamers even...
Everything about VODs is bad. Discovery for them is bad. Playback for them is bad. Playback for them is bad. The quality is bad. The payouts are everything about it.
Not a single one of those fucking plans will make it to a streamer's pocket through the box. So, on YouTube, it's a totally different story. Streaming on YouTube isn't the one I just over 110,000, which is my biggest stream by viewer metric.
Damn.
The most profitable stream I've ever done, the most profitable anything I've ever done is this by Starfield.
I'm playing Starfield now. His fucking face. That's the way I felt playing the game too. It's perfect. Oh god. Fucking Starfield.
I had 31,000 average viewers with a peak of 38K, which is a big stream. That is a big stream to me. It's actually more than the Rocket League one. But the Rocket League stream, not only the longer stream, but had a higher expect to make more money. Sure. Well, that's not the fucking case when it comes to YouTube streaming. Because this Starfield video actually made $84,000. 84,000 doubloons for a 4-hour mid-to-back actual, like this was showing you to try not to take that.
That's crazy.
Challenge.
Wow.
$84,000. And it's not because the 31,000 viewers all of a sudden started, you know,
yeah, you can see right here how you make money. It's all 79,000 was all for this.
This wasn't like the biggest documentation credit card fraud and money laundering that the internet's ever seen. The live stream itself made 1.6K on ads, and the other $78,000 came from the VOD and the ads that.
Man. You got a lot of them. That's a lot. He basically got paid to play Starfield? Yeah. Well, let me see. I don't think my Starfield video did that well, right? It's probably, yeah, it's all just me talking shit about Starfield. Asmund plays Starfield for the first time. It's a 15-hour video, and it's me sad with 200,000 views. Starfield is pure trash. Starfield is trash. Streamers Starfield review. Anon's brutal review. Bro. We farmed the shit out of that, huh?
That played during a VOD. Now the membership number there, the 2.4K, a lot of those memberships were just from people watching the VOD and then buying a membership, not them doing it while it was live.
Yeah, sure.
Also the supers and gifts, I'm pretty sure that is live. So you can add the 1.6K plus the 1.6K on the supers,
That's
so
a
the
lot.
1.6K from the live ads plus the super chats. And let's just go ahead and be generous and say like the live stream while it was live made 4K. The other $80,000 came from the VOD. This isn't some like rare mutation here, like a fucking X-Men of analytics. This isn't some fringe outlier isolated case. This is the way that YouTube streaming is optimized. YouTube streaming is kind of just an afterthought for the platform.
I have a conspiracy theory that YouTube actually doesn't want streaming to be popular because there's been people that have, you know, technically crunched the numbers and they realize that everybody who's streaming on YouTube is actually costing YouTube more money than it makes them. So that's why YouTube doesn't actually promote streaming. It's not because they don't want to or they're stupid. It's because they actually don't want you to stream, but they have to pretend like you can stream. That's the only way it can make sense to me. Nothing else makes sense. Check speeds, live stream VODs? Oh, probably massive.
It's always been about VODs, the videos itself. So when you finish a stream, it becomes a VOD, and that enters into the YouTube algorithm. And YouTube is extremely efficient at monetizing VODs. So finishing a 4-hour Starfield stream, it immediately saved as a VOD and made tons and tons of money through the VOD. Whereas on Twitch, again, I don't even think VODs are monetized, and if they are, it's not the creators making the money from the VODs, I don't think. YouTube is a totally different story.
Yeah.
You don't make as much money while you are live from people buying memberships or donating money or anything like that, and their ads aren't that frequent on YouTube live streams.
This is the reason why I do it the way I do it. And so the reason why is that I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. And since I cover a lot of controversial and edgy stuff, what I do is I upload onto Twitch, and then we make sure that we edit everything to make sure that anything going on YouTube isn't problematic or there's nothing wrong with it. So that's really the reason why. Because like I agree with this. I don't know like really if live streaming is the right option, but I think that making sure that you're uploading on both platforms definitely is. Yeah, stream on Twitch and then upload to YouTube. That's what I do. Is Twitch not losing tons of money by not properly pushing VODs? I bet they are.
This is what I showed you with the
lot.
Between 10 to 20,000 I would usually be making between 4 to 6K. And that was like normal, going up to like 8 or 9, and then that being the biggest at over 11. But right now, my viewership combined on YouTube and Twitch is higher than it ever was on just Twitch. On YouTube, I average between 10 to 12.
What's the point? Yeah, no, I mean, if you, it's the same as like any entertainment industry where you're getting paid based off of scale, that people make a lot of money, right? That's just it. Now, the thing is that, and this is the problem, is like some people will watch a video like this and be like, okay, well, all I need to do is make $300 a day and I'll be rich, right? I'll be fine. It's very much like a super unlikely outcome, right? So yeah. That's down broke. Yeah, exactly, right? Well, I see people say that a lot. They're like, oh, that's easy. All I have to do is stream video games and I'm going to be a millionaire. And people start streaming and they don't become millionaires, right? It's not so good.
Okay, a stream and on Twitch it's between like 5 and 6K.
Yeah.
Really at the time. But on Twitch, you'll make more money while live and make nothing once the stream ends.
Sure.
On YouTube, you'll make less money while live and then could make 5 times as much from just the VOD. On Twitch, when the stream ends, it's basically forgotten. That's lost media at that point because no one's fucking watching Twitch VODs, it seems.
That's the big issue that a lot of streamers don't do, is that any streamer that exists only on Twitch will eventually, in my opinion, become irrelevant. And I think this has happened with a lot of people, and like their popularity was really high on Twitch, and then eventually people just kind of lost interest on them because they weren't on other platforms as well. And they don't achieve, they don't hit that higher level. And you have to be uploading on YouTube and on other platforms too, like Twitter, etc. It's hard to stay relevant. Well, it especially is on Twitch, because when you're not online, you don't exist. Whereas on YouTube, you can go back and watch a video that somebody did 2 years ago, and it's just as relevant as it is when it happened. So like, in a way, right? In a way. And so that's what happens. You just have to be lucky, that's it. I think there's a lot of factors that are involved, but like, what I'm saying is that if you don't put your content on other platforms and try to grow other platforms, you're doing yourself a massive disservice.
On YouTube, when the stream ends, well, now the journey's just begun. Like, now, there's no telling what that can generate. Like, take this for example. This was a very normal, pretty low-key stream. I was just replaying Gears of War, one of the most important games in my life. This wasn't a brand new, hot release that would be, like, algorithmically successful. Like, it's not like something the algorithm will be salivating over, pushing out a Gears of War live stream. Gears of War is older than the hair on your grandma's titty nipple. Like, this is one of those streams where I do just because I really wanted to
wasn't that long ago.
And you can see my average
like 5
viewers
years ago.
were 10,000, which is normal. That's a pretty normal stream for me on YouTube. But the VOD
Gears came
now
out like
has
5 years ago,
1.6
right?
million views and has made over $20,000.
Damn.
And of course I was multi-streaming, so I can pull the Twitch data as well here. This exact same stream made $1.4 thousand on Twitch.
Imagine only making $1,000, $1,400 in a day for a stream. Bro, you're basically broke. You might as well go be a mailman. What's this? Come on.
Difference is substantial. Now you can see again here in the data, the live revenue, 802 live here, plus again, memberships and supers aren't really indicative to what was live because some of those could have been from people watching the VOD, and it calculates here post-VOD. But regardless, you can see that the live revenue was less on YouTube than it was Twitch, but the overall revenue is substantially higher on YouTube because of the VODs, which is something Twitch just doesn't really have, which is why I think you should just do both. Your potential to earn while live is much higher on Twitch, but your potential to earn through VODs is astronomically higher on YouTube. So you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't just do both. And again, it is...
Yeah, that's what happens. Like, I see plenty of streamers, like, I could pull up YouTubes and I could start pulling names, and I got a list of people that, you know, invested only into making Twitch content, and they totally fell off. That's it. Charlie is a big YouTuber first, though. Everybody knows Penguin Zero from back in the day. Well, okay, so yes, obviously being a big creator makes a difference, but what he's saying is that this is at scale. So like, if you scale the numbers down to being a smaller content creator, this disparity still exists. It just doesn't have a 0 at the end of it.
A positive for viewers too, because they'll be able to choose the platform they want to watch on, as opposed to having to roll their eyes and be like, oh, my favorite streamer's on YouTube. I hate the fucking chat there, but whatever. I guess I'll watch, or maybe I won't. I really hate YouTube streams, or vice versa. Oh man, my favorite streamer's only on Twitch. He went from YouTube to Twitch, and I just don't like Twitch. I'm not a fan of it. I guess I'm just not gonna watch it anymore. I'll just wait for the VODs on YouTube when he posts the clips. Like, now they have the option of just being on what platform they want to watch the stream.
It's a really good point that it's better for users that you're on both platforms. It's like, because they don't have to decide. Like for me, I don't think I'm going to stream onto YouTube because it's an all your eggs in one basket type situation, and I cover so many like controversial topics I don't want to get in trouble. But otherwise, yeah, that's why we upload everything to YouTube. Like,
a lot of streamers that are making the switch to multi-streaming, I just really think this should just be common practice for anyone who streams, because there's no reason not to. There is no exclusive contracts anymore. They're gone. Poof. They've vanished.
They'll come back. They'll come back. Because they came back once, they'll come back again. People in markets become antsy, and it'll happen again. Because things change.
That's great for streamers and viewers alike, honestly.
And there are people that still do get
contracts. Were the future for streams, but that was until I realized just how efficient multi-streaming is from both a streamer and viewer
The reason
side.
why contracts went away is because Twitch realized that it doesn't have to pay people to stay. That's the reason why. And also, a lot of content creators don't really bring their audience with them in a lot of cases. Because like most of the people that they paid money for contracts for, like Ninja or like anybody else, I think Ninja is the first example, like Ninja totally fell off, right? And so you have people that go over, it's like if you transplant the biggest tree in a forest to a desert, the tree's gonna die even though it was the biggest tree in the forest, because there needs to be an ecosystem that keeps that tree alive. The tree can't just survive by itself. And so, like, these other platforms don't have that ecosystem in the way that Twitch does, and that's why you see Twitch, that it just has this position, right? That's it. Ninja was massive? Yeah, exactly. Myth. Yeah, look at Myth, right? Myth was really popular on Twitch, and then he went to YouTube, and he got like 100 viewers. And so it happened with tons of people.
There are just endless examples I can give in my time multi-streaming. Like, here's another super normal one with me playing an indie game that I really like called Another Crab's Treasure. Fucking Crab Souls. Absolute banger of a game. But it's not like this stream was doing crazy numbers, right? Like, the movement on this stream wasn't anything, you know, unfathomable. Average 13K viewers, but the VOD now has over 2 million views, and it's made over $30,000.
Big money.
And to show this same stream what it did on Twitch, the numbers that it put up over there, it did 1.3K during the live stream, and nothing from the VOD. I can go on and on with the crazy numbers that YouTube stream VODs are capable of putting up. Like, here's me just playing Liza P, fucking Pinocchio song, 16,000 average viewers. And the VOD has made over $51,000. I just don't
That's a big money situation. Holy shit.
There's a very good argument to only streaming on one platform. There is no reason you shouldn't just multi-stream. Your viewers are going to pick the platform they most prefer. And I think that it's nice to at least give them the option of choosing that for themselves too. And again, the potential for the streamer is pretty huge. So yeah, anyway, hopefully this was helpful for anyone out there that's trying to decide what platform they should stream on. I think it should just be both. That's my advice, and to any streamers out there right now.
The issue with YouTube is that, Ludwig talked about this, is that sometimes they'll take your stream down if their DMCA machine catches something that that like triggers it. So that's the bad thing about YouTube streaming. But otherwise, yeah, YouTube streaming is good. Yeah, like music.
Only streaming on either YouTube or only on Twitch.
Yeah.
Really think you should just come in the middle and hold hands with both platforms and just, you know, like the commercial, why not both? I really think that it's probably a good idea. I do want to say, though, regardless of what platform you're on, it's a very saturated market, so it's going to take a lot of luck. I've said this since the beginning of time. I'm not special. I got lucky. You could be making the best content the world's ever seen. Turbo, cheek clapping, slapping, banger, heater after heater. But at the end of the day, it's all about having that one lucky break that puts it in front of people's peepers and gets them interested. The only thing you have control over is the consistency. So that way you'll have like a catalog.
That's what a
video.
lot of people fall off on. They are just not consistent.
Yep. That people can go back and watch after they might find that video that popped off through luck. So that's really about it. So yeah.
I think for a lot of people, like there's always, I think there are a lot of streamers, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, like a streamer that does get really lucky and then they totally fucking fall off because they don't capitalize on it. I think that happens a lot. I'll link you guys the video. Tons of it taking advantage. Yeah, like for me, like there have been moments for me where like I've known that like, oh shit, like I'm getting lucky right now. I need to farm this as much as I can. So yeah, because it's not consistent. Exactly. It's all luck. Stop coping. I don't think that it's all luck. I think that luck obviously plays a factor, but there's other elements of luck that exist outside of the spectrum of viewership. Like for example, there's luck in terms of looking a certain way, in terms of spawning in a first world country, and in terms of, you know, growing up with computers. And so there are a lot of like social and like economic like elements of luck that have to converge as well, and also just physiological, other things like that, right? It's hard work and luck. Yeah, mental health, exactly. Yeah, there's gonna be some people that just, you know, they don't have the same mentality for it that other people do, right? So yeah, spawn point, exactly. Who the fuck is the Luck Fairy? Cinder my way? Yeah, there we go. Some people get rated for 30K viewers. Next day, they were back down to 50. What was your lucky moment? I think that, so for me, there were a number of like kind of breakout things that I did that got really popular. So one example of that was that, like I did a transmog video on how to rate people's transmog and how to choose your transmog. That got really popular on Reddit. And then I did the Moose's Loose event with like Twitch. Because like, so we started streaming on Twitch in like 2016. Yeah, the Johnny Depp trial, that was really good too. And that got a lot of people watching. And the steak video was also really good. Yeah, that was big. And then you had like a couple of other like WoW events that had happened in. Because like when we started streaming on Twitch, like I don't know, can I show this on Twitch? Let me see. Twitch tracker. Okay, can I search Asmongold? Oh wow, who's that? And so, if you look right here, I think it's about like right there. Can I go back and like search these? No, I can't. And so like April of 2019, you guys see this right here, right? It's like like things were going very well, right? And then, you know, viewers went up a lot and like it basically like doubled, right? In like one month. And then I went from like June, I had 10,000 viewers, and then by August, I had almost 30,000 average viewers, right? And so things definitely went really well. And I'm actually surprised it's not higher at the beginning here, because whenever we were farming, it took us maybe like a couple of months, maybe like 3 or 4. Yeah, actually, I think this probably makes sense, right? Yeah. No, I know what it was. So back then, what happened is that we streamed at night, and then we switched stream times, and then that's whenever the numbers popped off. So I think that it was like a few months, and at night we were like the top streamer on Twitch after like maybe 3 or 4 months of streaming, like the top stream on the whole website. But this was at night, and there was less competition there too. And so that's one of the other reasons why you know, like McConnell and I were able to get like so many viewers back then. I think that was a huge factor. And I followed from Lost Ark. Yeah, exactly. And so like you can see here, right, like July, 24,000 viewers, the next month like 50,000 viewers, 60,000, then it went down, right, obviously, because then I pretty much stopped streaming. Then I came back and like immediately, you know, I ended with like 20,000, came back to 40, and then it just actually kept going up. And then I took a break for a while. I came back again, 80,000 viewers in Final Fantasy. That's my mom passed away, so I stopped streaming. Came back again, 100,000 viewers, 40,000 viewers, back up to 95,000 viewers, 47,000, 90,000 again, 49,000, and then I quit streaming on my main channel, right? That was it. And so, yeah, there you go. Algorithms were different back then too. Yeah, exactly. And so this is my old channel and everything. And like with the new one, I think like, let me see if I look at my new one. I try not to look at analytics a whole lot because I do and I don't, right? But I do try to avoid it a bit as much as I can. Yeah, things are going pretty well for me right now. I would say so. I would say this has been it's been a very good day, a very good time for me. Let's talk about it. Let me talk just a little bit about it. Let me get just a little bit into it, etc. So, do you remember when I defended to a fault Overwatch 2? I simped for this game so fucking hard. And do you know why? The reason why is that it didn't have loot boxes. And I thought it doesn't matter the quality of the game if they are not introducing and capitalizing on gambling that is targeted towards children and underage people. It is still a W to me. I got a lot of hate. Everybody was mad at me. And I stood by and I stood strong in my conviction and my principles because I was right. Everybody else was wrong. I was right. And do you know what happened? You know who else didn't think I was right? Blizzard. They added him back. They did it. So now I'm the retard. I want to go back and every positive video I made about Overwatch 2, I want to like put like a fucking disclaimer. Yeah, by the way, this doesn't apply anymore. The game sucks dick. Okay? So let's take a look at anything to bring them back from Marvel Rivals, right? Yeah, oh yeah, this is what's really gonna get people to come back to Marvel Rivals. So we'll take a look at this. Bro's not a bridge builder anymore? No, Blizzard, no, this is the thing. I said it before, I say it again. You build 100 bridges, you suck one, you're not a bridge builder, you're a sucker. You suck 100 and you only build one bridge, you're Blizzard. And here we are. Overwatch 2 loot boxes are officially returning in Season 15. There it is. Wow, 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 look at that. And so this is crazy, isn't it? And Overwatch 2 loot boxes are officially returning. So look at all these articles that just came out. So it looks like apparently there was a embargo on this information. Overwatch 2 is bringing loot boxes back from the dead. Well, how can Overwatch bring them back from the dead if Overwatch is dead? How does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, like, you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, right? And so it's 12 minutes ago. Yeah, bro, this is cutting edge, you know, immediate news. Right now, it's happening at this very moment. It's a big week for Overwatch 2 fans. You're right. The Thing and the Human Torch are coming out on Marvel Rivals, so Overwatch 2 fans will finally have a good game to play for a while. New content, etc. No, good point. Very good point they're bringing up. Absolutely. And so let's take a look at this. Season 15 returns the feature of loot boxes. A press release says you will be able to earn a variety of cosmetics when collecting loot boxes. They will be available from weekly and event rewards. You will also be able to earn one loot box via free battle pass, an additional 2 in the premium battle pass. So loot boxes were initially removed during the launch of Overwatch 2 as a game move free to play. Blizzard seemed more comfortable making money via in-game shop and battle passes instead of loot boxes. Loot boxes were quite controversial. Yes, bro, I died on this hill. I'm actually so mad. I died on this hill for nothing. For fucking nothing. This is insane. How does this happen? It's all been for literally fucking. I'm so upset about this, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very upset. Yeah, no, not a zilch, nothing exactly. Yes, and you was wrong. Overwatch loot boxes are fine. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want. I am not willing to give even a second of like trying to justify this, trying to say why I thought it was better. Fuck this. Fuck them, man. Like, I tank so much hate for your fucking company. Nick and Imaru get sponsored to play your shitty game 7 times for an hour. They play it for 7 hours. I play your shitty game for 70 hours. I make 5 videos defending your dog shit. I never get fucking sponsored, and then you turn me out to be a fucking liar. This is ridiculous. I think they made a made the wrong call with this. It's disappointing that they decided to go in this direction. It's not good. And I don't agree with it. And yeah, that's about it. They're bringing back loot boxes, so you're gonna be able to buy them, and it starts on February 18th. Wow. And okay, so regular loot boxes have a. Okay, I'm not gonna read this bullshit. And they're coming back to. Wow. So the entire idea of making all these super expensive skins was to make sure that people didn't have loot boxes anymore. And now loot boxes are being added back into the game. Let's see what the Overwatch 2 subreddit says about this. Overwatch fans, Marvel Rising fans, Overwatch Born was banned. That didn't even happen. Wait, oh, is this not? Oh, it's a dead subreddit. Overwatch, right? It's the real subreddit? Yeah, here we go. And so let's see what anybody is saying about this. Oh, this is the new season. Okay, let's watch the new season trailer. Here we go, guys. You ready for it? Wow. Yep. Yep. Competitive rank reset. Wow. So you have to do. Okay. Wow. So you have to do it again. So you get a blue. Okay. Okay. Introducing perks. What are these? What? Oh, so it's like a robot.
My armored fingers are gone.
Alright, so they actually put this, dude. This game is down that they're actually advertising that they're putting loot boxes back into the game. Like, this is in the trailer. Wow. Okay. Loot boxes are free? Well, my understanding is that you get loot boxes through playing, but you also can buy them. Which is how it was in Overwatch 1. Overwatch Classic builds meta? I'm not yeah, if I remember, I thought everybody, why would they add this? Yeah, what? I'm so confused. Mythic, Pixies, and Yada. Complete the premium battle pass. Oh my god. Oh wow. Wow. Oh my god.
I will achieve my vision. My arrows fly true.
These look like default NPCs. They're like the NPCs that are like in the background, but like the important character in the story is talking. Yeah, no, you're right. Borderlands is the better one. Yeah, Borderlands definitely the better one. so loot boxes returning is massive. If they're ass like Apex's, then rip. Kind of worried that all loot box rewards look like common stuff. Average loot box drops, mostly Overwatch 1 loot box drops, are common duplicates. Bro, they're already coping and the season isn't even out yet. Oh my god, you don't need to do this anymore. You can move on, man. Just wait for it. Oh my god. Interesting update. What is this? Loot boxes returning LMAO. Wow. Well, loot boxes returning is amazing, but I don't know about pickable passives. Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea, to be fair. I do think that's cool. 2 Kiriko skins? Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe because they actually want some of the people who are part of their real fan base to play the game again. And so, yeah, let's see. Finding some good competitive points. Gun skins, Overwatch 1 is back. Yeah, I feel like after Overwatch 2 released, Blizzard has done everything in their possible that they possibly could to make Overwatch 1, or sorry, make Overwatch 2 Overwatch 1 again. So it's basically like they made this bad decision, and everything that they've done after the fact is just trying to undo that bad decision. Which is like, I mean, to be fair, I think it's kind of true. I mean, you got to look at it and think about it for a realistic perspective. You know, Overwatch 2, how are they doing right now? How's Overwatch 2 doing? Let's take a look and see. Overwatch, and this, we're looking, by the way, this is not their total player base. I would say over 90% of the people play on Battle.net. But let's take a look at how the game's doing overall. We're looking at a trend. This is a sample size. Okay, so I can see why they're adding loot boxes back into the game. So basically the game is circling the drain, and they've decided to, you know how like when somebody dies, before the body's completely cold, they extract the organs? Well, I think this is called Season 15 of Overwatch. I think they're trying to get as many organs, as many pieces of this corpse out of the body as possible before it finally fucking dies. That's it. It's still good though. Look, Overwatch has a lot of good things about it. When it came out, it was an amazing game, and I think that I really Overwatch plays very well in a lot of cases, but which game do I think is like more fun to play? I think Marvel Rivals is more fun to play. It's more interesting to me to play, and I like it more, right? I mean, I'm not playing either one of them really all that much right now, but if I had to choose, that's where I'd be right now. Well, you can easily see why this has happened. Big surprise, nobody gives a shit anymore. And I feel bad for these people, I really do, but unfortunately, if you're still playing this game, this is what you get. And I don't know what to say, but wow, there you go. And holy shit. This is breaking news, gentlemen. Overwatch has brought back loot boxes. Everything they said they weren't going to do, they have done. Concord, yeah, this character actually, they brought this character from Concord. Yeah, if you can believe it. Yeah, exactly. This is the Blizzard character design now. This is the way it is, guys. Sorry to say. And wow. Overwatch 2 competitive year details, all changes, and loot box updates. Wow. Well, and then you have the legendary, it's a 5% chance. Oh, you have legendary loot boxes? Well, where do you get... Blizzard has confirmed that players are guaranteed to pull. I love how it says to pull. Because you know what you pull? You pull the lever on a slot machine. That's what you're doing. You're pulling a slot machine. How is this happening? You already know. Like, it's just insane, man. Is it okay that I don't feel bad for Blizzard? I think that China needs to come up with an MMO that, if you have to understand that basically if China comes up with an MMO that's better than WoW, they will have effectively, they would basically just have taken Blizzard's skin and they're just walking around in it. Like, they have fucking PoE 2 because it's owned by fucking Tencent, which is China. They have Marvel Rivals, which is China, and which is NetEase, which is China. And now, like, they tried Terrasland. Yeah, if the Riot MMO, because Riot's also owned by Tencent, which is China, and if the Riot MMO is better than WoW. China will have killed Blizzard. I really think about it. Yeah, it's very possible. Rivals already took a big chunk of COD and Overwatch. If China makes a great MMO, it'll bury Blizzard. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Do they deserve it? Absolutely. Absolutely. As soon as they started doing that weird shit in WoW, they started adding furry races into the game. It's like... Nah, bro. Like, it's just so weird, man. Like, that shit with Diablo 4, how you could get disconnected, have your hardcore character die. Overwatch 2, like, didn't even work for the first couple of days. Wasn't even that big of a deal. No King rules forever. Bro, this has been a fucking, that's been the case for Blizzard for a while. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, we're better off.